My name is Chris Morgan. I'm 41 now, and I've been living in another state a long time ago, far away from the places I'm going to talk about. But the dreams in which I see that place, that old gas station, don't stop. It all happened in 2002, in November. I was 19 at the time. I had just graduated high school and was looking for any part-time job I could get to save for college. I was lucky enough to get a job as a night cashier at an abandoned roadside gas station in Arizona, next to a deserted stretch of I-40 highway. The place was weird. An old building, a shabby sign, and a time-burned awning under which were two speakers, one of which wasn't working. Inside was a narrow storefront with refrigerators, shelves, and an old cash register. The security cameras were analog, with black and white images, and the weird thing was, we accepted cash only, no explanation. I was hired by an older man named Mr. Elliot. He owned a gas station and said most people avoid the place because the highway is cursed. I laughed then, but, however, looked at me and said, if someone shows up and is acting strange, don't go out, close the door, look into the cameras, and most importantly, don't answer if someone calls your name. I thought he was just an old geezer. First week. The first couple nights were quiet. Occasionally a trucker would drive by, get coffee, cigarettes. Some just stopped to sleep. One man even paid me $50 to keep him company for 5 minutes. He said he didn't like driving alone at night. On the fourth night, an old car pulled up at 243, a Chevrolet Caprice, all covered in dust and sand. The windows are completely blacked out. It just stood there with its headlights on. I waited for 5 minutes. No one came out. I grabbed a flashlight and got out. The interior was empty. No driver, no passenger, but the engine was running. As soon as I turned around, the car stalled and the lights went out. I felt the hair on the back of my neck rise. I quickly went back to the booth and locked myself from the inside. When I looked at the cameras, the car was gone, literally vaporized. Friday is the day of naughty shadows. I told Elliot about it. He wasn't surprised. Sometimes they come. Not all of them are alive, so don't know they're dead. He didn't explain further. I began to dread the night shifts, but I didn't leave. I needed the money. One Friday morning around 3 a.m., the doorbell rang. I Saturday at the cash register. No one came in. The register was empty, just an open door and a shadow slowly sliding along the shelves. It was blurry, like an old videotape. I blinked, and it was gone, and on the floor, scattered packets of chips and one bloody napkin. Saturday is driverless truck day. Around 1:30, a truck pulled into the parking lot. No headlights. The engine stalled. The lights went out, and a man stepped out of the cab. His face was like a dead man's, white as chalk. He approached slowly and said, "You shouldn't be here. They come back every 17 years, and this night is the last." It was then that the headlight of the truck flashed again. 3 silhouettes emerged from behind the trailer. Tall, thin, faces painted in charcoal. They moved strangely, as if not touching the ground. One of them passed the camera and the image began to ripple, as if it were broken. I ran to the back room. When I came out, everything was gone. The truck, the driver, the silhouettes. All that was left was silence. Last night, November 17th, 2002. The 7th night, last shift. I came to work, sensing that something was going to happen. The security cameras immediately started behaving strangely. The images lagged, and sometimes they showed figures that weren't there. At 2:17, I heard someone banging on the window. I didn't approach, looked through the monitor. Standing outside was myself, exactly the same, wearing the same clothes, but his face, it was smiling, a dirty, evil smile. I turned off the light and hid. After a few minutes, the knocking stopped. I looked out, the figure was gone. By 3, the camera at the back exit caught movement. First, there was a flash of a truck, then a woman in a white dress. She walked slowly, staring directly into the lens, and then she whispered my name, Chris. I pulled the camera cord and ran out the back door. Epilogue. The next day, I called Elliot. He didn't answer. I found out later that he had died in his sleep. No sign of illness. His heart had simply stopped. A week later, the gas station burned down. Fire department said it was a short circuit, except the power was already out that night. 23 years later, I still dream of myself standing at the register. There are 3 silhouettes on the camera screen behind me, and one of them has his hand on my shoulder. If you see an old gas station on the side of Iminus 40 where no one is there, but the lights are on, don't stop. They're still there, and they're waiting.